So welcome to the video. Today we're going to take a look at how to do a median split on Jamovi. So for this example, let's imagine that we have asked people about their caffeine intake and then they've received a score out of 10 with higher scores reflecting a high level of caffeine intake and lower scores reflecting a lower level of caffeine intake. But let's imagine that we don't want to have all of these individual scores, but instead we want to categorize people as belonging to a high caffeine group and a low caffeine group, so we can use a median split to do this. So the first thing we have to do is to figure out what the median is. So to do this, let's go up to analyses and then down to exploration and then descriptives, and then we're just going to transfer our variable using this arrow to this variables box, and that will calculate the median for us automatically. So we can see that the median in this case is 5.50. So we want to categorize people with a score above 5.50 as belonging to the high caffeine group and those with a score below 5.50 as belonging to the low caffeine group. So if we go back to data here at the top, and then I actually have a checklist of things to do. So we've determined the median. The next thing to do is double click above any empty column to create a new variable. So we're going to double click here. The next thing is select new transformed variable. So that's this one here. And the next thing is name variable. So we could just call this like caffeine high versus low, whatever you want. The next thing on the list is select source variable. So the variable that we're going to use to create this variable is this caffeine variable. So we're going to select the caffeine variable from this list here. And then the next thing on the list is create or select create new transform. So we're going to go to this menu and we're going to go down to create new transform, and then we can give a name to this transformation because we can save it and then use it for other variables if we want to. So let's just call it something like median 5.50, and then we can use this add recode condition to tell Jamovi that those with scores below 5.50 are going to be categorized in group 1, whereas those with scores above are going to be categorized as belonging to group 2. So groups 1 and 2 are going to represent low and high levels of caffeine intake respectively. So the first thing I'm going to do is click here, and then I'll put this less than symbol, and then I'll press spacebar to move across to this other box, and then I'll put 5.50, and then I'll put a 1 here. So anyone with a score below 5.50 goes into group 1. And then we have this else use option here. So if we put a 2 here, Jamovi is going to categorize anyone who doesn't match this description in group 2. So if we just click here, we can see that we now have a list of 1s and 2s in this caffeine variable column. And we can see that we have a 1 here, for example. So this person has a score of 5, as that's less than 5.50, less than the median. They're in group 1, whereas this person here has a score of 6, and since 6 is above 5.50, they've been allocated to group 2, which is the high caffeine intake group. So that's basically it. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.